How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today I want to talk about a specific topic. It's kind of slow on news right now, so I want to get into more of a social issue. And my question I pose to the audience watching me, to anybody, I don't care where you are, near or far, if you can be transgender and that's backed up by the scientific community, then why can't you also be transracial? Why can't you also be trans species? Why can't you also be trans machine or whatever you want to do? Let me explain my point. Now, you got individuals like the human being formerly known as Bruce Jenner on the screen before you. They can come out and say, you know what, for, the first 6 decades of my life, I was a man. I have children, I have grandchildren, etc. But you know what? Now I want to be a woman. I want to shave my Adam's apples down. I want to, grow long hair. I want to get breast implants. I want to remove my penis. I want to do all that and become a woman. And I want you to call me Caitlin now. That's my name. I'm a woman and that's it. And it's fine. You can't call me a man anymore. If you call me a man, you might even get arrested. I think in New York City, there's some kind of law or ordinance that says if you call somebody the wrong gender pronoun that you may get arrested or fined or something like that. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the box. But I've seen stuff like that be floated around, if not specifically in law. Now, if that's going on, then it opens the floodgates to everything else. Now, before I even continue with my video, no disrespect to anybody that's watching me that's transgender or trans, whatever you want to call yourself. If you want to be Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn Jenner, and go that route, then more power to you. I say hats off. I don't want to make no joke about nothing else being off, but I'm gonna go ahead and digress. If that's what you want to do, that's your business. But my problem is, then why can't this same thing be attributed to other things that people want to do with themselves? If it's to be accepted as normal and somehow scientific and somehow something that you have to do, you must call somebody these specific gender pronouns or else you get maybe arrested or fined, maybe brought up on hate speech charges. If that's going on, then why can't that same privilege be afforded to everything else? Right? Just like the whole situation with Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal is obviously a white woman that has now called herself a black woman. She says, yes, I'm a black woman. I'm braiding hair. I'm the president of the local NAACP, even though it's in Spokane, Washington, which is only like 1 to 2% black. It doesn't matter. I got a scholarship, full ride. That's something else I want to talk about. I'm kind of interrupting my Rachel Dolezal spiel here, but let's talk about the benefits you get from certain races. Rachel Dolezal, from what I've heard, was able to get a scholarship at a black college. If it was not her, I know it was Shaun King, another one, somebody who was born white as snow, white as could be. This guy might be of Irish heritage or of Nordic heritage. If you see his family tree, if you see him in general, if you look at him, this dude is white as snow. I saw this interview with a guy that was white, who was actually obviously white and was not trying to hide it. This dude was about 10 shades darker than Shaun King himself, right? You had the guy interviewing him, and then you had Shaun King right there. The juxtaposition was just really crazy. How can you call this guy who's like 10 shades? If he was any lighter, he'd be like no skin color at all, right? No pigmentation at all. He was white. Shaun King, that is. But he calls himself black. He has a black wife. He's down for Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, all that kind of stuff. He writes articles, virtual signaling to the black community. He got a scholarship at a black college. I think it was through Oprah, matter of fact. So if that's going on, then, what does race really mean? What do all these racial, set-asides mean? If people that are not that race can come in and take it, just like Elizabeth Warren, also known as Pocahontas. Is she a Native American? Looks like a typical British person to me. I don't see even her name, Elizabeth Warren. Is that a Native American name? Look at her face. These people are not really who they say they are, but for some reason they're being accepted. So if Bruce Jenner is being accepted, pardon me, sorry, I don't want to get anybody triggered. I don't want to get this video flagged. If Caitlyn Jenner is being accepted as being a female, even though they were born as a male, if you have these people, Shaun King, Rachel Dolezal, Elizabeth Warren, etc., they're being accepted as being of some person of color, even though they're obviously white as snow, looking like it just came straight from, Europe yesterday. If that's going on, then it has to be normalized as far as being transracial. That has to be a normal thing. It can't be this thing where it's like hiding in the closet, I'm denying it. Nah, it's got to be put out there, because obviously they are not who they say they are, but they're being accepted anyway. So that whole thing has got to be accepted, right? It's the same thing going on with people that are transgender. At one point, they were in the closet. They were trying to hide it. They were not really all the way accepted. You may see a dude looking like Miss Doubtfire coming to your restaurant. You can't say nothing. You don't know what to call him. But now you got to call him she. That's what it is. And if you don't do it, you might get locked up. You might get a fine. So therefore, it must be the same thing the other way around. If you are a white person, white as snow, and you decide to apply for African-American scholarship, you got to be able to get that, because you could consider yourself black. And it's just what it is. You may wake up one day and say, you know what, I feel black. It's got to be that way, because what scientific evidence is supportive of either one? I'll wait. I mean, where in science does it say that you can be born with XX chromosomes and feel like you have XY chromosomes and be treated that way? Where's that at? Even Bill Nye, the fraudulent guy, Bill Nye, the heretic guy, Bill Nye, the liar guy, said before he became all SJW that gender was based on XX or XY, and that's it. And curiously, but not so curiously, but in that part of the show, not the new one he has on Netflix, the old shows are also on Netflix. But that part of the show that was in the original one where he said XX and XY has been cut out of the reruns on Netflix. Now, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the new show has a whole different leaf. And he said in the show, well, I used to think that gender was just XX or XY, but now it's, trillions of genders or whatever it is. That, I'm not exactly quoting them word for word, but I'm paraphrasing and kind of just being a little dramatic. But really, at one point he thought it was XX and XY. Now it's just whatever. So I don't even really know where this is going. But if that's going on, if we go and just throw that out the window and say, you know what, chromosomes mean nothing, you can be whatever you want to be as it relates to being male or female, and the gender pronouns must be correct or you'll get a fine, then it must be the same way the other way around. If you're a white person, you should be able to get whatever you want: affirmative action, African-American scholarships. You should be able to go to any reservation, whatever you want to do. That should be your right, because you should be treated the same as a person that becomes a different gender. I mean, logically so. And I saw this show. Shout out to the Grapevine TV. That's where I got the idea from this video from. And there was a person on there. I don't want to get wrong with I don't want to get nobody triggered with the pronouns, but there was a person on there that was born a woman and then they say they became a man. This cat had a beard, mustache, everything. So that person did some hormone stuff to their face, to their body, etc., to get a more masculine look. But that person was saying that being transracial, not the same thing as being transgender, because you can't wake up one day and say you feel black. But I beg to differ. I mean, there's differences between being black and being white and Asian or whatever it is. There are differences, so you should be able to feel them as well, right? And how can you say that somebody should not feel how they feel? Because I can say the same thing about you, that you should not feel the way you feel. If you're born a woman, that's what you should be. That's my opinion, yes. But if we're going to be in a society that says that that opinion is wrong, then you can't have opinions on anything. You should be able to be whatever you want: transracial, transgender, trans species. I saw this article on Facebook where this guy has spent like 40 grand on plastic surgery to become an elf. So now we're getting into some murky waters. If you become an elf, are you subject to the same laws that human beings are subject to? Because let's not get it twisted. When you're talking about animals and human beings, animals have different laws than human beings do, right? You can kill animals, you can eat them or whatever. So when you're talking about not being a human anymore, what does that mean when you're talking about laws? I saw another thing where a person became like a transgender lizard. I think they got like breast implants. I'm not really sure about the breast implants, but I know they had like their tongue split. They had ball bearings in their eye brows to make it look like that of a lizard or a toad or something like that, or like a what's one I'm looking for, like a small lizard like them, or like a dragon or something like that. So if that's going on, we can become different species. Then if you can become a different gender, which is not scientific, even though it's backed by many in the scientific community, then why can't you do that as well? I mean, it's a good question. I don't see why that can't be so. But at the end of the day, I think all this is just crazy. And one thing I want to say is that I refuse to call myself cisgender. Look, I was born as a male. I'm a male. I enjoy being male. That's it. I'm not calling myself cisgender or cis or anything else. My name is Anthony. How about that? Don't call me. I'm not going to respond to cisgender. I'm not going to call myself cisgender. I'm going to say I'm a male and that's it. If somebody is transgender and then they become male, do they call themselves trans man? Like, what do they put in front of their name? Now, they have to put something in front of their name. If they put trans in front of their name, then why do I got to put cis in front of my name? Is it because they don't want to feel like they're alone? They don't want to feel like they're the only ones doing it? Look, I'm not the one that became something different. I'm just who I was born as. And that's it. My name is Anthony. I've not changed my name. I've not changed my race. I've not changed my gender. This is just me. I'm the same person I've been. I just got taller and bigger, and that's it. Taller, bigger, older. I did not change anything that really can't be changed scientifically. So I'll call myself a male. You call yourself a attack helicopter, trans male, trans species, trans elf, trans universe, whatever you want to call yourself, that's on you. But I'm not calling myself cisgender. I'm not participating in whatever you got going on. If you want to do that, that's your business, but leave me out of it. If somebody want to get drunk every day, that's their business, but I don't drink. So you know what? I'm not going to get involved. That is your business. That is your cross to bear. And that's it. And if you call yourself just a male with no pronoun, with no suffix in front of it, then, and you want to call me cisgender or cis male, see, now you're playing games. Now you're trying to just reverse it on me. Now you're trying to make me be like the person that's wrong, right? Or the person that has some kind of explaining to do about their gender. If you are a female biologically, but call yourself a male, you got to explain that to people, to potential partners, to employers, to whatever it is. If you try to play basketball, that's another thing right there. You got a lot of these women that are feminists and a lot of people in the LGBT community that kind of are on the feminist spectrum as well. They talk about the patriarchy and how oppressive males are, especially white males. Well, what happens when white males become white females or black females or whatever other female they want to be? And then they go into your professions and they dominate, like weightlifting. I saw this article where you had this big, gigantic dude who became a woman, destroying women in weightlifting. Fallon Fox in the UFC. I'm not quite sure the person's in the UFC anymore, or if they were ever in the UFC, but they were a mixed martial artist. They were a male at birth and then became a female, and then they joined the UFC and started beating the brakes off of women. Is that fair? Is that fair? What about this gigantic basketball player? This person looked like they're about 6'8" easy, right? 6'9", 6'8", maybe even 6'10", like a really big male. Big not only in height, but also in size. A person that really can't be done, like a woman cannot handle that type of person. Is that fair for that person to be playing competitive sports with other women? Is it fair? And if you're talking about the patriarchy and white males dominating society, why do you want to have a thing that will enable them to get into your space as women and dominate there? It does not make any sense. A lot of things that are happening don't make sense. And I'm going to close with this for real. You got people that are saying, oh, well, you know, the scientific community is behind us. There's that and the third. But what evidence is there that you can be born in the wrong body or you can just change your gender? All I ever known since I've been a child was XX and XY, and that's it. It's funny how a lot of people on the left, they'll throw away science. They'll throw away things that are able to be proven for theories that cannot be proven. Just like Pangea, which is a whole different ball of wax, and I digress. Those things they'll take for gospel, even though it can't really be proven. But a thing like gender, XX and XY, which can be proven with hard physical data, Oh, no, that's not really real. We don't really believe in that. You know, sexuality is a spectrum, gender is a spectrum. You even got Bill Nye, the mechanical engineer guy, who at one point said that it was about XX and XY. Now backtracking because maybe it's because of lobbyists, money, just trying to be famous still on TV. Whatever the case may be, he has now retracted himself. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I just think that it's all crazy. It's all a mental illness. It's a big crazy game. And the longer the left, and not even necessarily the left, just people that are just crazy. As long as crazy people keep behaving this way and they keep voting a certain way, we'll keep voting opposite of them. And when I say we, I mean those of us that have any kind of sense to understand basic things about where babies come from. You can't be a male and give birth to a baby. You cannot be a female and be a dad. So what do you think? Do you think that if you can be transgender and that's fine, you should be able to be transracial, trans attack helicopter, trans species, trans whatever you want to be, and it's all the same thing? Or are you offended by what I've said so far? Are you triggered? Do you think that being transgender is one specific thing and it's about your emotion and energy and stuff like that? Or is it just something that you just want to do and that's it? Whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.